Having control of your breath and your voice is probably one of the most important aspects of showing up with authority. Hello, my name is Jamie Lee. I am a broadcaster and educator. I stand in front of audiences all the time, and I thought so many people are trying to become YouTubers and want to create content, but have difficulty standing in front of the camera and delivering their message because you're camera shy or because you're not used to seeing yourself on camera. So I thought I'd bring to you a few tips that I use in the studio and on camera myself to help you be a better YouTuber, better entrepreneur, and feel more comfortable in front of the camera. Authority comes from control, and having control of your voice is the best way that you can show that you are in control of a situation. And having control of your breath and your voice is probably one of the most important aspects of showing up with authority. Most people think that authority comes from a loud voice or a strong personality, but that isn't the case. I've learned this from my own experience in the classroom when, in the beginning, I tried to show students my authority by speaking louder, speaking faster, and trying to catch their attention. But I noticed the more I did that, the more I would lose the attention of the students in the class. They would start to stray away from the material and they would avoid having eye contact with me the more louder I was. And I had to adapt with another approach. I finally got to the situation where I was actually doing the opposite. I was letting go of my voice power. I was letting go of trying to be strong in front of the classroom. And when I started to speak in a more natural but more authoritative tone, that is when I was able to catch the attention of my students. So today I'm going to share with you 5 ways to build up your authority. And these are tips that have actually worked for me. Number 1, slow down your first sentence. When people want to give a presentation or you need to stand in front of a group, or maybe perhaps you're needing to speak in front of the camera like I am right now because you are a YouTuber, or maybe you are an entrepreneur, or you might be having a Zoom call, or you could be teaching in front of students. The thing is that when people feel nervous, they start to speed up their words. And this is pretty much the case with many people, especially who are speaking in front of a camera or in front of an audience for the first time, or if you don't have a lot of experience speaking in groups or in public settings, you will feel adrenaline rushing and you'll feel yourself speeding up in your speech. But the truth is that authority comes with deliberate and calm speech, not speedy talking or talking fast. So we want to make sure that we're slowing down in our first sentence because that is the first impression you're going to give to your audience. And you also want to give your words space. When I say space, it is actually giving your audience breathing space to breathe with you as you are delivering your message. It also helps them to follow your pace in a natural flow without having to hold their breath as they listen to your next words. You can just slow down and allow yourself to slow down, and that's actually going to help you breathe more naturally and let your audience breathe with you. So slow down your first sentence. Number 2, lower your voice. Don't push it. Authority isn't about speaking louder. It's about speaking deeper and steadier. And this can be done very easily by relaxing and dropping your breath deep down into your diaphragm. There are some things that you can do to help you find that relaxing spot with your voice. But in general, just have that mindset of being okay with relaxing your body, letting go of the strength in your voice so that it is falling to a tone that feels most natural to you. People naturally have a tendency to trust voices that sound natural and end on a lower tone. But when we are in a rush or when we are unsure, the ends of our sentences have a tendency to go upwards. You want to make sure that you don't sound like you're unsure. And the best way to go about this is actually practicing reading sentences with a falling tone at the end of your sentence. Going up makes you sound unsure, and lowering the end of your sentences will make you feel more sure, and you will be able to build trust with your listeners. Because lowering the sound at the end makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. Number 3, use strategic pauses. Strong speakers are confident with pauses and confident with silence. We don't need to fill in the gap. Especially a short pause after an important comment or an area that you want to stress will actually make people stop and think about what you're saying and listen to the key points. In other words, it gives your words weight. If you never pause, your message disappears. Authority lives in between the sentences, if that makes sense. So you want to pause in between sentences to show your authority and build that trust. If you're not sure when to pause, you can try pausing after a question or at the end of a sentence. And I want you to practice this with a friend. Do they try to answer your question? Do they try to fill in the gap? Or do you see them thinking about the question and trying to gather comments to reply back to you? And once you're able to pause after questions, now start pausing after a statement, especially one that you think is very important, and see what happens. Does the silence make you feel uncomfortable? Well, keep trying it because you'll get used to it once you try practicing. If you're a YouTuber like me, try using parts of your videos where you have B-roll on your video without you speaking all the time. You don't have to be putting out your voice as a voiceover for every second of the video. It's kind of like, think about radio. You are listening to the host speaking on the radio show, but once in a while, there will be music. So why not put some background music if you don't like silence to your videos, to your B-rolls, and stop talking for a while. It can actually be a bit of a relief for your listener and audience. Number 4, speak in clear and simple sentences. When people are unsure, we have a tendency of trying to explain more, but the more you're trying to fill in the gaps, the more uncertain you end up sounding. But when we have a very clear and simple sentence, it makes it easier for the audience to relate. And you don't find yourself falling in the trap of trying to figure out how you're going to end your sentences. It may seem at first like you are lowering the level of your communication skills, but it actually is going to be more stronger. So while you might feel like complicated sentences sound more intelligent, in fact, using more shorter and clearer messages will come across to your audience more clearly. Number 5, finish your sentences. In most cases, many people lose their authority at the end of their sentences. It might be a habit that you have, it might be the way that you speak naturally, but give it a little bit of intention to finish off your sentences strongly with a final note. This can be the tone of your voice. This can be you showing intention to finish off your sentences with clarity. It makes you sound so much more confident on camera. So your sentences is a rainbow full of energy, and once the rainbow goes up in the air, you want it to fall down with weight. You don't want it to fly up in the air and just disappear. So it's kind of like the way you're delivering your message. It should have the same weight you began with at the end of your sentence. Think of it again as a rainbow dropping down to the end. Try to finish your sentences within that one rainbow, instead of saying something and then mumbling off into the air, and that's not an ending. In other words, land your last words with intention. If you're shy, you can still speak up with authority by using the tips that I just shared with you. So the more you train yourself, your voice, your breathing, and your appearance on camera, the more natural authority will become. If you're enjoying my camera confidence tips, or if there is another area that you need some help on, please leave it in the comments and I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you in the next video.